Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Narsimha and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to address about the arrays concept in JavaScript. Yeah, as part of JavaScript tutorial. So I'm dealing several topics. Of course, already there's a few videos are uploaded, and now we are going to discuss about that arrays. And this is part one. And so this array series, it will be 3 to 4 parts, because in detail we are going to explore about that what exactly that arrays in JavaScript, how to handle with what is the differences compared with other technologies. So these are all we are going to discuss, and practically how do we implement these programs, and the syntaxes, the concepts that we can understand in JavaScript. So let's get started. And what exactly that arrays? Okay, of course. So most of us are all know in different languages, in simple, array is collection of similar items. So even in JavaScript also, it is a kind of data structure. So where we are going to store multiple elements in a single variable. So that is a major advantage of arrays. With one variable, I can refer multiple values. And these values will call it as array elements or array values. And so each and every value, so in the array, it's considered as an element. And these elements, individual elements, we can access with the help of a concept called index. Of course, this is same in every technology, and index starts from 0. So these are all very basic foundational points about the arrays. Now we'll move forward. So how practically we implement, we'll spend more on the practical aspects, and with some couple of examples as well. Next, in this session, primarily the basic points about how to create arrays, how to access the array elements, how to find out the size of the array. And especially in order to access the array elements, there are multiple techniques are there. Those techniques we'll try to explore, because usually we come across only regular for loop, but apart from that there are other two more techniques. Those I just want to share in this particular video. Please watch the video till the end of the session, don't skip it. Yes, how to create an array in JavaScript. So let us see the few examples. Number one, let the array name, so array1 equal to, in square brackets we should put the values. So in JavaScript, the square brackets is represents array. So this is a number array. And again, I am creating one more array that is called array2, and equal to new array. So this is creating an array with size. So inside this parenthesis, you can provide the size. So I'll show you the example in VS Code. Okay, we'll explore that. This is an alternate syntax, creating an array with only the size without elements. Next, one more array, the marks array. So while you are giving the name, please try to use the array word as a postfix. It is just as a coding standard, which we can understand easily. So throughout the program, so wherever you observe this particular variable name, it is easy to identify. So maintain the proper coding standards. So here I'm just mentioned the 5 subject marks. So marks array. Okay, next, let us see one more example is a string array. So here I have taken skills array, which is having different kind of skills like JavaScript, Angular, React. So this is how strings arrays or string elements as an array. Right. So next, so we'll explore how to access that array elements one by one. Okay. So practically we are going to implement an example. And before that, what are the different techniques that are available? So technique number one, it's for loop. Okay, sorry for the spelling mistake. And for in and for off. Okay, so for loop, for in and for off. Now we'll implement these array concepts one by one. Okay, especially how to handle these arrays using 3 different techniques. So first one is normal for loop, and the second one is for in, and the third one is for off. So let us explore these things, how to implement. So here is one program. This is a small HTML web page. Okay, so JavaScript tutorial. and understanding arrays in JavaScript. So let me declare one simple array here. So array 1, and I'm taking the few elements in this. Okay, right. So in order to access these array elements individually, so we have to use indexes. So console.log array1 of 0. Okay, this is how to access the first element. Okay, so if you want to know the size of the array or how many number of elements, so there is one more property called length property. It is a predefined arr.length. Okay, so it is small l. Okay, in other languages, let us C sharp, it is a capital letter, but in JavaScript, this is just a small l, small length. Okay, arr.length. It just gives the size of the array. Okay, so there is nothing but how many elements that are available. So this will access the first element. Okay, so it will access the first element. Right, next, how to access the last element. Okay, so last element is nothing but array.length, okay, minus 1. Okay, suppose if you have 10 elements, okay, 0 to 9, 100 elements, 0 to 99 is the indexes. So here, this is our first element and the last element and the size of the array. Okay, and next we'll explore that how to access individual items in the array. Okay, so I'll also add some flags. Yes, first element, just adding some labels. Okay, and here is a last element. Okay, and then size of the array. Okay, so that in the output we can see the descriptions properly. And let me check this output in the browser. So open the console window so that you can see the results. Refresh. Yes, ARR is not defined. Okay, yeah. So sorry, that array name is wrong. It is ARR1. Okay, yeah. Right, cool. Now refresh. Yes. So this is the our output, guys. So first element is a 10, last element is 50, and size of the array is 5. So this is how we can access the individual or the particular items directly or randomly. First element, last element, whatever you want, you can access it, and size also. Next, how can you access these elements one by one? Okay, so all elements we are accessing one by one. For that, there are three techniques. Number one, so the technique number one, so using regular for loop. Okay, it's a normal for loop. Okay, how can we do? So very simple. For let I equal to 0. Okay, I less than, we have to get the size. We already know how to get the size, that is using length property and I plus plus. It's very general, traditional approach, conventional approach, okay, for accessing the individual elements or all elements one by one. Okay, and let us take console.log array1 of I. Okay, so this I is iterated, starts from 0 to less than the size. So that 0 to 9, if it is 10 elements, 5 elements, 0 to 4. Okay, so this is basically index based accessing. Okay, so let us move forward and just refresh so we can see the values. The first element, last element, size, and these are all using for loop. So we access all the values. The same concept we can also implement in with other two more techniques. Number one, using for in. Okay, using for in. So for in also it is index based. Okay, regular for loop. So obviously it is index based. For in also is index based. Only the difference is, so you no need to worry about where to start, where to stop, all these things. So these are all will automatically for I in array1. The simplifying and easy syntax, guys. Okay, so for let I in arr1. So no need to write where to start, no conditions, no incrementing the indexes and all. So in this normal traditional for loop, we should write everything. But here, these are all simplified versions. Okay, and the inner statement is same console.log array of I. Okay. Now, so let me refresh. Maybe we will get that same output. So ultimately that output is same. But the thing is, so how we can make use of these for loops. That is important. So it is a simplified version for in. So for loop and for in. Okay, fine. Another important one, so which is very useful while you are handling advanced concepts. For off, especially when you are working with array of objects. I'll take a separate video on that. Okay, I'll make separate video on that, how to working with array of objects. Okay, so for let, okay, I'm not using I use that item. So don't confuse, guys. Item is just a variable name. Okay, because for of is not index based, it is item based, or it is directly access the elements. So console.log. Okay, so you can go for directly display that item. So in for in is indexes. The indexes automatically will get and incremented. But here it is accessing the elements. So in my array, first 10 value. So that 10 value is accessed and displayed. And next 20 is the value, and that value will display. So this item based or elements based accessing. So directly you can display that item. So using for loop also we can get the content. So using for loop and for off. In case if you want that output difference, so yeah, using for off. Okay, yes. I'll just try to convey the same here as well, using for in, so that in console window we can easily recognize, okay, which statement it is. Okay, and using regular for loop. Okay, using for, okay, array of 1 of 5, and go and refresh the page. Yes, you can see the values. So these first 5 elements are normal for loop. Next 5 elements are for in. Next last 5 elements are for off. So these are all 3 techniques that we can use, okay, in order to access that array elements. For any array, the same technique we can follow. Any type of array, so we'll just make use of the same techniques. Okay, so this gives this particular video will help us to understand how to create array in JavaScript, and how to access the first elements, last element directly, and how to get the size, and especially how to traverse the arrays using multiple techniques. Okay, so please comment which one is easy among these 3 guys, and so why. Okay, and I have one logical question for you, and there is few operations which we cannot perform using for off and for in, so that you can perform only in the for loop. Can you please identify and please comment? So what kind of operations? So in the next video, I will address that question. Okay, there is a few operations you can address, or you can implement, or you can do only using for loop, that you can't do in for off and for in. So please try to identify and comment that what it is. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.